Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth. I'm your host, the Game Master, and today we're talking about the Titans, the Crisis on Earth K, and the Monitor of Earth K. But before we get into it, smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, ring the bell for notifications, and as always, leave us a comment. It helps us out on our end with the YouTube algorithm, and we love hearing from you guys. We've got an awesome community here, and it's all thanks to you. So thank you so much for being here. With all that said, let's dive in. The prologue to this one takes place on Earth K in 1982 as baseball season begins. The Titans receive an anonymous tip that someone hit a bomb at a baseball field and it will go off in the middle of a major league game. So the Titans run out onto the field, disrupting the game. Raven substitutes her APs of sorcery for the detect power and says the bomb is under second base. So Starfire uses her energy blasts to cut into the ground, revealing where the bomb is at. Then she throws it into space where it explodes, and she's a little bit stunned. In orbit of Earth K in 1982, there are tons of satellites. What the Titans do not expect is that one of these enormous satellites is inhabited by a cosmic being who calls herself the Monitor. So she beams the Titans aboard and they look around at this massive golden room. The green skinned Titan known as Changeling looks out of a huge window at Earth and says, "Check it out, dudes. Where are we?" Jason Todd, who's the current Robin, says that they are in space. Cyborg comments on how high tech this place is. Starfire asks who the Monitor is. And Raven comments that whoever she is, she's the most powerful being that Raven has yet encountered, even more powerful than Superman. The Monitor says that she has summoned the Titans here because their universe is about to die. She says that already 1,000 other Earths begin to perish. An antimatter wave is tearing through dimensional barriers, expanding outwards, engulfing one universe, then another, destroying all life in its path. The Monitor says, "First, your world will feel nature's wrath. Earthquakes, volcanic disturbances, and floods will crush your coastlines. Then shall come the nothingness, silent, invisible, sweeping across Earth K, taking everything with it." Cyborg loses his temper and yells at the Monitor. So she sits down on something akin to a throne, saying that she came here to help this world, not fight them. Just then, shadow demons attack. So we roll initiative, and the shadow demons' base initiative is 27. And they rolled a 3 as a group. So all of the shadow demons will go on 30. Starfire rolls a 9. So she goes on 32. And she's actually the only Titan who's faster than the shadow demons. And as such, she gets to attack first using her energy blast. In first edition DC Heroes, they refer to her energy blasts as a starbolt, which I bring up because the shadow demons have an attack vulnerability to bright light. So between that and the fact that Starfire has solar sustenance, we reasoned that her powers fit the bill. So she hits them with a 9 AP energy blast, doing 4 points of damage, taking the shadow demon's body down from 13 to 9. Then she shoots again, doing another 4 damage. So now this one has a body of 5. On the shadow demon's turn, it rolls a 13, which hits. and also does 1 extra column shift of damage. So Starfire's body drops from 7 to -1. So she's knocked out. Robin, aka Jason Todd, rolls a 9. So he goes on 29. That means that the shadow demon he's fighting gets to go first. It needs to roll a 5 or better to hit him, and it rolls a 10 and a 2. So it hits, and Jason Todd takes 11 points of damage. His body drops from 4 to -7. And -4 for him is death. So just like that, Jason Todd is dead. Cyborg rolls a 10, so he goes on 29 as well. That means that the shadow demon that he's fighting also goes first. It needs to roll a 5 or better to hit him, and it rolls a 5 and a 4. Then to calculate damage, we look at the shadow demon's strength of 15 versus Cyborg's body of 5 plus his skin armor of 6. So that means that Cyborg takes 5 points of damage and is knocked out. Changeling rolls a 10, so he goes on 27. His opponent needs a 5 or better to hit him too. He rolls an 8 and a 3, which hits. Changeling's body drops from 8 to 0, so he's knocked out too. Raven rolls a 3, so she goes on 20. Her shadow demon needs to roll a 4 or better to hit her, and it rolls a 5 and a 9, earning 1 column shift. So Raven's body goes from 6 to -5. So she's just 1 point away from death. So she's alive, but just barely. Now it's the Monitor's turn. She substitutes her Omni power for teleportation, and she summons the world's finest superheroes. So Superman, aka Clark Kent, and Batman, aka Dick Grayson, arrive on the Monitor's expansive headquarters. And this is the second Robin to die in our game. So Dick Grayson is consumed by this fact for now, while the Man of Steel is furious to see the damage that these shadow demons have caused. So he uses his 30 APs of heat vision, which, like Starfire's Starbolt, also does 4 column shifts more damage than an attack normally would, since they're weak to this form of attack. And he multi-attacks them all. So each one takes 25 points of damage. So the shadow demons are actually 1 point away from death, and they vanish. And Dick Grayson demands to know what happened to Jason Todd. So the Monitor tells him. And Dick tells the Monitor that this is all her fault. The Monitor says that at this rate, everybody in this dimension will be dead soon enough unless they do something about it. Which brings us to the epilogue. A funeral is held for Jason Todd, and all the other Titans are in attendance. The Justice League also pays their respects, and after the funeral, the League meets to discuss the coming crisis and try to come up with some sort of a plan. But for right now, they're completely overwhelmed by the problem, and they have no idea how to save Earth K. Meanwhile, the Monitor summons more champions to fight in the coming crisis. In the prehistoric era, the Monitor summons Mytor, caveman who has kind of like Thor style powers. And from the 40th century, the Monitor recruits Thundar the Barbarian. And Earth K begins to prepare. And in a few years, the dreaded Anti-Monitor is going to arrive and wreak havoc. But that, of course, is a story for another day. We thought this one was interesting. Hopefully you did too. If so, as always, smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, ring the bell for notifications, and leave us a comment. From all of us here at the longest running superhero role playing game on earth, we hope you have a good one, and we'll see you in the next adventure. Bye.